Welcome Diecast fans, I'm Tom Spanners-Watson.
And I'm Frank the Yuri Gibbs.
And welcome to Maverick Mayhem.
That's right, Spanners, we've got 8 custom Ford Maverick utes that are all competing to be crowned the best Maverick.
Hey, isn't that Billy that Mr. Dark nailed and went flying off into space?
Yeah, it turns out he didn't actually go to space, he just went into the trees, and then he was so dazed when he woke up that he accidentally signed up for his own search party.
Typical bogan. Alright, there's been some track upgrades made. We'll see how they work out tonight, but first let's have a look at the drivers. In the bright green ute, we've got Brian driving the red line Derby ute, then we've got Grandma in the bright pink ute, Ezra Dillon driving the grey shark ute, and Flat Out Fred driving the dark green metallic.
I'm really keen to see how these boys go in these identical utes with the same weight. It should be great.
Well, of course, they're not all boys because Grandma's in there. Alright, we get underway. Flat Out Fred into the lead early on. Grandma trying hard, Brian right on her tail, but Flat Out Fred holds the lead down State Highway 1. Grandma trying to close that gap, and she's getting close as they head up Magnus Mountain into the switcher, and here comes Grandma, makes a challenge up the inside. She is trying hard, but Flat Out Fred manages to close the door on her, and as they head into the final straight, Flat Out Fred holds on. Brian comes in for third place, and unfortunately we lost Ezra Dillon back in the twin straights there.
Flat Out Fred and Ezra were definitely the first down the dipper, but unfortunately Ezra just went a bit sideways, and then what an epic battle here. Grandma may be the oldest competitor out there, but she sure ain't the slowest. She was giving it the beans there.
Yeah, Fred was under all sorts of pressure. I thought Grandma was maybe going to get around him, but he did a great job to hold her out, and Brian coming in third there at least get some points on the board, and a disappointing start for Ezra Dillon. Hopefully he can do a bit better in the next round.
Well, that first part of the whole track seems to be a lot quicker now. Those two outside lanes with much higher curves, and then the Devil's Staircase just evened out just a touch, is letting these cars really put the pace on.
And it looks like Ezra Dillon making up for lost time here. Pulls up beside Grandma, gets around the outside of it, a beautiful drive down State Highway 1, and then Flat Out Fred and Grandma get tangled up. Looks like Brian is still in the mix at the back there, but Ezra opening up a big lead, but Grandma is not going to let him go easy. She is doing everything she can to reel him in. Flat Out Fred in the background, but it's a battle up front between Ezra Dillon, who just holds on for first place, Grandma into second, Flat Out Fred into third, and there comes Brian for fourth.
This was an epic battle here. Grandma and Flat Out Fred were battling, and they completely missed Ezra Dillon just whipping on by them, and then Grandma got into the side of him, and I thought they were going to tangle up completely. Look at Grandma drift into the forestry section there as well.
So a very tidy drive from Ezra Dillon, puts on 6 points, moves into, well, third place technically, because we were Grandma and Flat Out Fred tied for first.
It's been a while since we've seen Grandma out on the track, and I was worried she maybe lost her edge, but she's doing an absolute beaut job out here.
And we're underway for race number 3. And it's a tight battle again between Grandma and Flat Out Fred as they barrel down the state highway. Ezra Dillon into third, and I think Brian may have been knocked out by Ezra there, but it's a tight battle up front as they head up Magnus Mountain. Fred first into the switcher, but here comes Grandma again. She is making a challenge up the inside. She gets up the inside, but Flat Out Fred back into the lead. He drives her into the wall. Ezra slams into them, and we're going to have to go back to a restart.
Let's just have a quick look back at what made it happen to Brian there. So he was coming down. It looks like he just clipped the back end of Ezra's Maverick, and that sent him sideways into the wall. But what a great challenge here from Grandma. I really thought she had it, but Fred was not going to let that go easy. Look at this, Grandma had her nose in front, but Flat Out Fred found some extra beans to feed into the Maverick and just got into the lead, and unfortunately they just came to a stop.
Alright, well, it's time for us to reset. We'll be right back.
Is your boss being a dick and yelling at you for no reason? Worried that if you speak up or say something back you'll get fired? Then here's the perfect answer. Choose Violence, the new caramel, peanut butter and molasses bar that's so chewy you won't be able to talk properly for hours. Its thick, creamy goodness will basically glue your mouth shut, thereby eliminating the chance of you saying anything. Remember to choose Violence for your next meeting.
And we're back for the rerun of race number 3. Flat Out Fred in lane number 1, Ezra in 2, Brian in 3, and Grandma out in lane number 4, but that is not slowing her down, but it's Fred and Ezra with the lead. Grandma closing that gap up to Ezra as they hit the forestry. It is a very tight grouping as they get into that section. Can they keep it together as they go up Magnus Mountain? Whoa, and Flat Out Fred was going so flat out. I think he was up on 2 wheels there. Ezra closing up, and we've got Grandma and Brian battling out and behind. Brian unable to pull off the pass. Grandma holds on to third, but it's Flat Out Fred in 1, Ezra Dillon in 2, and Brian flipping over there as he goes over the finish.
Wowzers, look at that drive from Flat Out Fred. He was right up on 2 wheels going up there, and somehow he got it back under control and didn't take out any bogans. That's an insanely good bit of driving.
Yeah, Safety Steve doing a great job there with the slow sign, making sure that those bogans aren't getting cleaned up like we had in the rally competition. But now we've got Grandma tied with Ezra Dillon for second place. Flat Out Fred holds on to first place and Brian well out of it at this stage. So we've got Ezra starting in lane 1, Brian in 2, Grandma in 3, and Flat Out Fred in 4. Ezra into the lead first, but there goes Grandma and Flat Out Fred drive right by him down the highway. Now the top 2 drivers will move on to the next round, so Grandma wanting to hold on to this lead to stay ahead of Ezra Dillon. Flat Out Fred isn't going to make it easy though, as he goes right up on the back of Grandma's Maverick. But she is doing everything she can to close him out, and she manages to hold on to the lead. Ezra Dillon's going to come through for 3rd, Brian for 4th, and Grandma proves that she's still got it.
There's definitely nothing stale about Granny's muffins, mate. She did a great job out there. She was under all sorts of pressure from Flat Out Fred, who again, another fantastic drive, takes the top points with 18. But Grandma, well done, 16 points. You're moving on to the next round. And thanks very much for playing, Ezra Dillon and Brian. It was great to have you there. But those 2 there are going to be the 2 to beat.
So we've got 4 new drivers next week, but that's enough for us today. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Tom Spanners Watson. He's Frank the Guru Gibbs. We look forward to seeing you next time.